Okay. So, and these seats came from the Fox Theater. So we've gotten a lot of help from the Fox, because of all the grants that they've given us over the years. But this building was finished in 1953, 3 years after the original building burned to the ground on opening night. Have I told you that before? So, and the city was devastated. The townspeople were devastated. Obviously, nobody was hurt, but before the first production was even begun, the building burned to the ground. Little boys in Winterville, one of whom just retired from our planning and zoning committee and grew up here, obviously, George Chandler, were paid 3 cents a brick to go into the rubble after the fire cooled and knock the soot and the mortar off of the bricks so that we could reuse them and put them back in the walls. And so the community got together. That's why it took 3 years, because they didn't have any money. They had to do a lot of fundraisers. We've got articles from barbecue fundraisers back then, and local carpenters and people came in and helped out. Craftsmen came in and helped out. And the community rebuilt it over 3 years. And that's kind of why I always talk about the community spirit of this building, because that's exactly what we started doing 3.5 years ago. We just came in here. There was nothing. The roof was caving in, 2 holes in the roof. This place had become a storage facility for the city. It was just a big warehouse full of junk, for lack of a better word. And we just came in here, had community work days on Saturdays, and citizens would join me, and we started sweeping up and cleaning up, and we thought, we looked around and thought, gosh, this looks really, that's like something special. So luckily, the magic just kind of started from there, and one of our local citizens, David Matthews Morgan, worked with me to go to the Fox Theater Institute to get some grants, and we got grant funding, and all of a sudden we put power in the building and HVAC units on top, and now state-of-the-art sound and lights, and our third phase, which will be our final phase, will finish this out, and we had plans to go ahead and do that until COVID-19 hit and put everything on hold. We will do that next year. Hopefully, the Fox Theater Institute will have funding and some SPLOST dollars. The citizens voted to make this one of the projects to complete. So next year, we hope by the end of next year to have the final phase totally completed and the auditorium ready. It's ready now. We use it now, but hopefully by then we'll have a really nice addition to Clarke County and the Northeast Georgia area for artists and citizens and everybody to enjoy. This is now our community center, and it's great. Obviously right now, and it caters to seniors, so senior programming. Obviously we're not having a lot of that right now because of COVID-19, but we do have this great amenity to the city and for our citizens, and as I was telling you, next door, we have our big full teaching kitchen where we've had cooking shows, or not shows, but cooking, classes in here. It's great for that. These move around. This is a audio-visual room and also a Zumba room, all kind of different things go on here. So this has been great, pretty new. The city's we've only had it open for a few years. So we're still kind of building here, and then upstairs. So like I told you, this building was done. The plans were, I think it started in 2010 or 2011. Didn't get finished until 2016, the year I took office. It's great, but as you can see, they've overpowered the room a bit. And this is an old 1956 schoolhouse, right? So if you walk upstairs, you'll see a very different opportunity. These are the original stairs from the school. The high school that was closed, shuttered in 1956. But if we're talking about untouched gems like you just saw next door in the auditorium where we're in phase 2, you're seeing phase 0 here. How cool is this? So this is another area that we are going to lightly renovate, because look at these beautiful hardwood floors. I mean, look at this. Look how thick they are. We've got enough here to patch the places we need patching, bring these floors back to what they were in 1956, right? And that's part of the reasoning, and that's part of the impetus behind me being so aggressive getting the Historic Preservation Commission put together. Because when I came in to finish, stepped in and took office and helped finish the downstairs, and saw this beautiful opportunity upstairs that has not been touched with these old, beautiful big windows. I mean, it looks like an REM video waiting to happen, right? This is like old Athens, and you don't want to cover that up. You want to make that. You just want to let it become beautiful again by simply renovating it, not over renovating it. Because when I was told the story about the beginning of the reconstruction of this building, obviously you can look up and see that they had to fortify the ceiling, fireproof it, all that kind of stuff, and add some infrastructure there before they got started downstairs. Well, the story goes, when they came in and they started to do the work here, the chalkboard from this classroom was on the wall. The lesson from 1956, the last day they had school in this room, was still on the board. Chalk was in the tray. The crew ripped it off the wall, threw it in the dumpster. And that, to me, symbolized what has happened, sadly, to a lot of our buildings in Winterville, is we didn't keep them and repurpose them. We just let them go or fall apart or deteriorate. And that was the impetus behind the HPC and the Historic Preservation Commission in Winterville. And so far, as you can see, since then, houses on Main Street are being renovated, and the trail has a lot to do with that. And fortunate that a lot of people are wanting to move out to the city and make this their home. But at the same time, those were some of the houses that were borderline about to fall over that are now beautiful homes for new citizens. Right? That's great. That's what we want. So was all spurred by this room right here. And you can see it's still unrenovated, but how beautiful is this going to be? I mean, you can kind of see the future of this as an art space. We have our art shows downstairs, and the idea is the Winterville Arts Council would like to make this art space for artists, and kind of an incubator for businesses or art, creative outlets, creative businesses. But you can see the old roof line from the original high school coming down right there. So it almost tells you, you need to build a little porch here for storytelling, right? So it's kind of, the building will tell you what you need to do to it to make people want to be a part of it. And this room certainly has that energy and that feel of this area and the history. And I can't wait to see this one lightly renovated,